Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour live on this Thursday. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and it is a world that has gone completely mad. We've got the anonymous resistance. If you're into that, the Wall Street Journal now apparently this is how it works. Now, journalism is no longer journalism. Allowing an op-ed, an unnamed op-ed from a senior White House official, which there's like thousands of, claiming that there is a resistance inside of the Trump administration. And you know what? I'll just say this because you can hear this on other shows. Here's what I thought was hilarious about it all. Is he talked about all the great things that they had done. Talking about strengthening our defense and the tax cuts, right? So they wanted to take credit for all the good things. But, yes, other than that, they hate the president. That's the name of the game. And then I saw Cory Booker now is threatening to break Senate rules and release confidential emails that are apparently not allowed, right? They're people have read them and said, hey, we'll show them to you, but you can't disclose them. In regards to trying to derail the Kavanaugh appointment to the Supreme Court, right? And, hey, they're just rules. Who needs them? Nobody follows them anyway. Speaking of not following the rules, Wells Fargo in trouble again. I know. Listen, you keep your money in the bank because it's super safe there. Don't worry. Just ask them. They'll tell you how safe it is. Not to be, listen, they're not alone. American Express now joining list. Listen, they're all bad actors. And you know what? It's the wolf guarding the hen house. The central bankers are in charge. They're the ones that are supposed to be protecting all of us. And yet I tell you all the time, they could care less about you and us. And how do I know this? Just look at what the laws are, and it would be easy to see. Right? As I continually remind you, when you put your money in the bank, you no longer own it. How much more proof do you need? You no longer own it. How about your money in your 401ks, your IRAs, your money markets? Think you own those? Right? And I know a lot of us know people, and maybe a lot of you listening have done it. Getting your money from your 401k is a huge pain in the you-know-what. Right? I mean, most are like, oh, well, you can't do it now. Right? You got to wait. We'll do it at, 3 months from now or 6 months from now or whatever it is, and fill out these forms and do, right? They act like it's their money. And now, of course, in light of what happened in the quote-unquote financial meltdown in the Great Recession, they've now come up with the great idea that, hey, you know what, next time, we're going to make it so nobody can sell. Yeah. Remember what happened like in the money markets and they were breaking the buck and all that? I know you forget. You don't want to remember those things. Well, the SEC, of course, with the approval of the central bank and their banker buddies, changed all the law. See, too big to fail. We fixed it. We fixed it. How did we fix it? We fixed it by making sure the citizenry takes it in the shorts. Right? Instead of bailouts, there'll be bail-in. But don't worry. Don't worry. Because they'll give you some stock instead of your actual money. And if maybe the bank can turn it around, maybe down the road, sometime in the future, you can maybe get your money back. Maybe. Oh, you wanted to sell today? Oh, I'm sorry. We'd love it. We want to do it. We do. I'd love to execute that order, but you know what? The SEC says we can't right now. Yeah, I know that everything's falling and going down, and that's why you want to sell, but I'm sorry. right? It's so simple, right? Nobody in their right mind would actually give their hard-earned money when they actually know what the rules are. And what I'm telling you, hey, listen, do your research. Not making it up. It's not to scare you. This is the truth. These are the facts. When you put the money in the bank, it is no longer your money. You become an unsecured creditor. They rewrote the rules. If your bank goes belly up, we will not bail them out anymore, right? Instead, we'll just take it from the depositors. But don't worry. It's not like we're not just going to take your money. I mean, we're going to give you the stock that you can't do anything with. And maybe, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, maybe it'll be worth something. We don't know. And I'm sorry about your 401k and your IRAs and your money market funds. You're just going to have to wait. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number, legal, lawful, constitutional tender. See, our founding fathers were actually a lot smarter than the bankers want to give them credit for. They didn't want the bankers to have this type of power. Right? They didn't want your money to be devalued. Right? If you wanted to put it in the bank, you could, right? But they wanted you to have your wealth where only you knew where it was, and that is what we do. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. AllAmericanGold.com is the website. 800-951-0592. That is the toll-free number. We're on this great station every single day, Monday through Friday, from 9 to 10 a.m. in Phoenix on KXXT 1010. Of course, we're on up there in 1360 in Johnstown. And it depends there because they got that daylight savings thing. So sometimes we're on at 9, sometimes we're on at 10. And in Arizona, let's just say that's just too complicated. It's just too much work to do that. So I'm not even sure. I think I'm on at 10 right now. I don't know. But nonetheless, we're talking about all this stuff going on. And here we tried to focus on the financial because, what they tried to do is they try to control your thoughts, right? And you think about what they're trying to do to the president now. And of course, listen, they've got to go, right? If they can't get him impeached, they're going to, what's next? What lengths are they willing to go to? And I don't even want to say it, but I'm going to tell you right now, the lengths, I don't think there are any that they won't explore. Let's just put it that way. And then you start thinking about all the debt markets and the Federal Reserve and the central banks and all the collusion and all of the integral moving parts that is this central bank that has their hands in the back of your pocketbooks day in and day out. And they want you to try to believe that they actually know what they're doing. Yet when you look at it, they have no clue. Boom and bust, boom and bust, boom and bust. And I know, let's just more debt. Right? And you think about every problem that they go back all the way to the Great Depression, right? What was the problem? Oh, we didn't create enough debt. Right? In order to create the debt, they had to take your gold away. And now you're starting to see, and again, they didn't fix anything. I know they want to act like it, right? And they're all proud of Dow 25, 26,000, right? Like that somehow represents America. Right? The Dow hasn't represented America since NAFTA and GATT. Right? None of them are quote-unquote American companies. They're multinational companies. Most of them got more employees somewhere else. And they want to pretend like this represents America. right? And trying to mislead us into believing that they're on our side. Yet when you look at everything they ever done, let me ask you this, not just the laws that they've enacted since the financial crisis, since they essentially have put the fence around all of your cash now. Because you got to remember, listen, the debt's almost $22 trillion. It's going to be $40 trillion by 2027. Right? And how do you know this? Are you Nostradamus, Stubble? Can you see the future? You know what? I can't. I mean, I'd like to think I can, right? But I'm not that smart. But I can do math, right? And it's something where, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. You don't even need to know how to do high school math. And I know all these people that work at the Federal Reserve and all these quote-unquote economists, they do math that nobody even understands. They've got imaginary numbers, math that has more letters than numbers. I don't even know what that is. Right? The pi sign that's not even a number or a letter, right? We don't know. What is that? I know 1 plus 1 equals 2. And if you can do math, you understand where we are headed. How do you think we're going to pay for it? Oh, that's right. We can live with our heads up our backside and go, we're the United States, and we'll just sell bonds, and everybody's going to buy them. Not anymore. Matter of fact, just go ask Goldman Sachs. Hey, Goldman, during this little trade war with the Chinese renminbi currency devaluing, are people buying their bonds? Or are they buying our bonds? Because if you look on the idiot box and you only get your information from the mainstream media, you would be led to believe the dollar is strong. Look at the dollar index. Right? Double doesn't know what he's talking about. The dollar index was in the 80s. It's now 96. Dollar strong, see? Maybe. But who's buying all the bonds? Right? Foreigners show up less and less at our auctions. According to Goldman Sachs, the Chinese renminbi, which it's still hard to buy their debt. Okay, China still hasn't really opened the floodgates. You have to go and you got to do it through Hong Kong and this and that. But guess what? That changes next year. Yeah, they're going to be in the basket now. And I think it's the Bloomberg Barclays Bond Index where you're going to be able to do it. But Goldman says it's already happening. More and more countries are looking into the future. And what do they see? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Yeah, I'm not going to want to have nearly as much of my money exposed to U.S. debt. And really, what does that mean? Holding U.S. dollars. So why did they put this fence? It's not even a fence. I mean, it's like like Fort Knox around all your money, right? Remember, they fixed too big to fail. We're not going to have another financial crisis. So why did they have to say, and really what the law says is they can do a couple of different things now. At any time, they can say, you know what, it's just the markets are too volatile, and what that means, the markets are falling so much that we can do a couple of things. Number one, we can impose a penalty for for you to sell. Right? In other words, hey, you know what? I want to go to the sideline. Just take my IRA, move it to cash. Right? Call your guy up. Right? You call up Schwab. I was going to say Smith Barney, but I don't think they exist anymore, right? You call up Schwab or you call up J.P. Morgan or whoever it is, and you just say, you know what? Just move me to cash. Well, there'd be a 20% penalty. Do you want to still do it? And see, the penalty's not enough. And some people might, yep, I sure do. Then they can say, you know what, you can't do it at all. See, so they get the options, right? First, they can start with a penalty just to sell. Or they could just say, you know what, nope, can't even do that. Because if you sell and everybody else sells, see, we're going to have a financial crisis again. So who are they looking out for? Right? And this is why I said, listen, I know you can't put all your money into gold. Well, you could, but I don't recommend it. But this is why you got to have it. You have to have some. And you really think about it and ask yourself, do you really think that it's less risky today than it was 10 years ago? Do you? I know it looks like they fixed it, but how did they fix it? There's less banks today. Matter of fact, those banks that are too big are way bigger. Now, I'm not, they didn't just say, okay, this is it. You can't be any bigger. Right? And obviously, anybody with an IQ higher than room temperature would know, well, if they were too big to fail, we should probably have a law that says you can't be that big. That way it doesn't destroy everybody. See, but the problem is they believe in debt. They think they can have prosperity through a printing press. And listen, we know you can for a while. Right? If you want a TV, well, they're too cheap. If you want the new iPhone, but you don't have the $1,000, but somebody's willing to give you a credit card, and you use that credit card to get that iPhone, you feel like you're prosperous. Of course, then every month, you got to pay the bill. Makes you a little less prosperous. Right? And then all of a sudden, they give the credit card gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, what? You can't pay the bill. And now you're not prosperous at all. That's what America's doing. That's what all fiat money does, though. See, this is, and it's so funny is they already know. They'll even tell, if you really push them, they'll tell you. Right? Ken Rogoff wrote the Curse of Cash. Right? He's another one of these big bankers, IMF guy and all that stuff. And he's just like, yeah, it goes to zero. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what we do here. And then you start thinking about all the criminal activity that the banks have done. If you want to amuse yourself, go to the Better Business Bureau. Matter of fact, you go to our website, allamericangold.com. There's the Better Business Bureau logo. If you click on that, it takes you right to our page at the Better Business Bureau. You know what you're going to see? Absolutely nothing. Big bunch of zeros. Any complaints? Nope. Any complaints in 3 years? Nope, nope, and nope. Put your bank in there. See how many complaints there are, right? That's all you really need to know. Today, the Wall Street Journal and the Department of Justice is now going back into Wells Fargo again. And again, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not the only bad actor. They may be the worst actor of the bunch, but it's all of them. The wholesale banking unit. This was the same unit that was revealed earlier this year that employees were improperly altering consumer information. In other words, taking people's loan docs and filling in the blanks. Sound familiar? Now, of course, they'll tell you, well, it's different this time because we weren't filling in their quote-unquote earnings. So somehow it's better. See, we were just putting in Social Security numbers and dates of birth and addresses, all that other stuff. It wasn't, we weren't doing anything bad. Well, guess what? Apparently the problem goes much deeper than originally reported. The banking group, which focuses on companies with annual sales of $5 to $20 million. Okay, so they're looking at companies kind of like Patriot and bigger. And they said that they found similar problems in their commercial banking division. So let's see. We do it to our regular folks. We do it to the people with their personal accounts. Oh, yeah, we do it to the commercial accounts as well, which they say serves the middle market companies. According to the journal, employees altered customer documents as Wells Fargo was rushing to meet a deadline to comply with consent orders from the comptroller of the currency. Oh, and again, it just never seems to end. Fraud everywhere. And you know what? They've got the head bankers there to protect them. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Mrs. Schlafly was a courageous and articulate voice for traditional values and common sense for more than 70 years. And now, from the archives of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, here is Phyllis Schlafly.
Today is the birthday of one of the genuine heroes of the American Revolution, who was also one of history's most unique and remarkable individuals, the Marquis de Lafayette. Born September 6, 1757, his father died before he was 2 years old, his mother died when he was 12, and he inherited a big fortune. He joined the French military at age 14, became a captain at age 16. At age 19, despite the contrary advice of everyone he knew, he bought a ship and sailed across the Atlantic to fight in the American Revolution. Lafayette reported straight to General George Washington, and the two men became very good friends. Lafayette endured the freezing winter at Valley Forge, distinguished himself in several battles, and was wounded. In the middle of the Revolution, Lafayette returned to France and petitioned the French government to send ships, arms, troops, and supplies to the Americans. While home, he named his son George Washington Lafayette and his daughter Virginia after the new state of Virginia. He even gave a large share of his own fortune to help the Americans. Lafayette then sailed back to America to give Washington the good news about the essential aid coming from France. In 1824, many years after the American Revolution, Lafayette returned to the United States as the guest of a grateful nation. He traveled to every one of the then 24 states. He received a hero's welcome everywhere. In New York City, 50,000 people turned out to stand along the road and cheer him. In a ceremony at Bunker Hill, Massachusetts, Secretary of State Daniel Webster was the speaker, and he said, "God allowed to us, in the name of the present generation, in the name of liberty, to thank you." Many U.S. cities are named after Lafayette, from Maine to Wisconsin to Fayetteville, Arkansas.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Whether it's the vision of our founding fathers, the courage of our veterans, the moral compass of Christopher Columbus, or the fortitude of presidents like Lincoln and Reagan, the truth of history should not be undercut by liberal ideology. At Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, we honor history even as we look to the future. Join us at phyllisschlafly.com. That's phyllisschlafly.com.
800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Today's special. So let me just tell you what's going on. And I'm not surprised. As we see the contagion in the emerging markets continue, as we start to now hear reports out of Goldman Sachs, out of Bloomberg, that money is now flowing into the Chinese debt markets, and really what they're buying China's national debt and essentially adding the renminbi as into their reserve currencies. Big announcement also came out that I think it's the end of the first quarter, so let's just say the start of the second quarter next year. The ability to buy Chinese debt and add it as part of your reserve currency gets a lot easier. It's going to be listed through Bloomberg, and I believe it was Barclays. I'll triple check what bank it is specifically into their index fund, and Goldman Sachs anticipates that there will be a dramatic increase now in China's reserve currency status. They said the two victims, if you will, Japan and the United States, are going to be the ones that are going to see the biggest decreases. And, of course, at a time when we've got to sell record levels of debt, you know the rules. I've told you what they are. Just make sure, right? I get it, right? Hey, in order to make these, I can't put my money in my savings account in my bank. They won't pay me any interest. Right? Remember, for all of us that and not me, I'm not there yet, but for those of you that are over the age of 55, you're not supposed to be in stocks. They told you that your whole life. You're supposed to buy bonds. Right? In the bonds, or, you know what, CDs. Remember those CDs? Right? And you're supposed to be getting 6, 7, 8%, and you're going to live off the interest. Yeah, here's the cruelest trick, right? Right when the baby boomers got to that point, what did they do? Yep, pulled the rug right out from under you. So you need to have some gold and silver put away, right? And really, it's a simple thing. You put it away, and then you really just hope that you don't have to use it. I mean, that's the premise. But whatever you put away, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever you put away, whatever that 5 or 10 or 50 or 100,000 would buy today, 10 years from now, it'll buy the exact same thing. Right? So you think about the Federal Reserve telling us that they want 2% inflation, which is a lie, because I use my son now. I've got an inside source at the Chicago Federal Reserve. He was just there last week, part of his education, saying, yeah, we don't use actual prices to figure what inflation is, but 2%. And understand what that really means. That means they want to devalue your money 2%. So in 10 years, they want you to have 20% less buying power. Of course, the real number is 5, 6, 7. Who knows what the real number is? Right? But gold keeps you whole. And how certain are we? Go back to 1913. Go back to when they created the central bank. Go back to 1866 or 1925, 1933. And then they took the gold away. A $20 gold piece bought a cow. Right, a big heifer, steer, right? $20, $20 gold piece. Today, $20 gold piece still buys the cow. Go back to the 70s. Really nice suit, right? Really nice suit in the 70s was a couple $100. Got a $20 gold piece, right? I'd buy it. Go today, really nice suit, $1,200. $20 gold piece, right? See what I'm saying? It keeps you whole. It's wealth insurance. It's the part of your money that you want to protect in the marketplace, and we've been talking about it now for about the last month and a half. All this product that had been sitting in inventory, back stock, excess, since Trump won the election, essentially, has disappeared. Backdate Silver Eagles, gone. This morning, we were buying product this morning. The largest wholesaler in the world told us this morning there are no raw $20 Liberties or St. Gaudens. There's no raw $10 or $5 Indians. There's no raw $5 libs. Matter of fact, they said, listen, if you want stuff, you got to go, to XFs or AUs. You can't get it. It's just gone. They actually sent their VP to Hong Kong, where he's at right now, trying to find where they can't get it. Seemingly all at once here, everybody's decided, you know what, I need to get ready. And, of course, who's everybody? Not the regular folk, right? They're still on TV telling you about the greatest stock market and the greatest economy of all time. It's not what they're doing with their money, though. So right now, here's the thing, what we believe is you want to buy as much gold as possible, right? Whatever that amount is. And you want to make sure you buy it as privately as possible. Right? In other words, you want to have the ability to buy it, to sell it, to trade it, and not have to give out your Social Security number, worry about 1099s or any of those things. And that's where the old gold comes in. It's the most private way to buy. They have $110 Liberties. That's all they've got at the low end here. And again, we want you to buy as much as possible for the cheapest price possible, because that's how you do it, right? There's these companies, they sell all the graded coins and the slab coins. Listen, those are nice. They're nice if you know what you're doing, right? The coins that a lot of these dealers are telling you are rare aren't that rare. Forget about that. Stick at the low end and get as much gold as you can for the money. There are 100 raw $10 libs, and then after that, there will be no old raw gold at all, from the 20s to the 10s to the 5s, none. There's $675. If you buy 20 or more, there's $665 at 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. If you've never done business with us, we've been doing this a long, long time. 22-plus years, 23 years we've been doing this. We've been on the air in Colorado for that whole time. We've been on the air here in Phoenix since 2004, something like that, 2004, 2005. We're not like any other gold company you may have dealt with in the past or seen on TV, right? First of all, don't ever buy gold from anybody on TV. It's a giant ripoff. We don't do it like anybody else. There's no bait and switch here. These $10 Liberties, the best thing I got, and I want you to buy them. Matter of fact, when you call the number, you just say, I'd like the special. Right? Arlene's going to answer the phone. Arlene is going to say, thank you for calling Patriot. How may I help you? I'd like to buy the special, Arlene. Okay, great. How many would you like? That's it. That's our big sales pitch. How many would you like? And you just tell her, 1, 5, 10, give me that 20. I want the cheaper price. And then she's going to take your name and your address, because we need to know where to ship you. If you're in Phoenix or up in Colorado and you want to come and pick it up at the office, we'll do that too. We're not a coin store. Right? We want you to be able to do your business privately. We'll set you up an appointment, and then you can come and pick up your product. If you're not, you know what? Like in Phoenix, we're in the Deer Valley Airport. That's where we're located. You may be in Apache Junction, or maybe you're out on the west side, or you're up in Troon, and you're like, I don't want to drive. Right? You put a check in the mail. When you place your order, when we're done with the order, we're going to give you a trade number that locks you in, locks me in. Gold could go up $100 tomorrow, and you don't pay any more. Hey, gold could go the other way, too, right? Go down $100. You don't get to pay any less. We're both locked in. You mail me the check. I ship you the product registered, insured, U.S. mail. They will not leave it in your mailbox or on your doorstep. You will have to sign for it. If you are not home when the postman delivers, no worries. They're going to leave you a slip in your mailbox, and you go to the post office and you pick it up there. We don't call our customers. We don't email our customers. We don't solicit you ever. You could call up, order $100,000, get your product, and you would literally never hear from us again unless you called us. Right? We do when you ask. Some people like to, hey, will you call me when my check gets there? Will you call me when you ship? We'll do that. But we're not going to bother you at dinner. We don't have 30 employees that are just the dive-in punchers that are just sitting there punching numbers, phone numbers, and cold calling people. We don't do any of that. We don't take your phone number unless you want us to call you. We don't have free reports. Right? Free reports is just a way for them to harass you forever. Right? We don't run things on sale, and then when you call to buy what's on sale, tell you why you don't want the item that's on sale. We've been, like I said, we've been doing this. This is the third. We're working on decade number 3, 23 years now. We've been doing this. We don't lose packages. We don't have complaints. Right? We treat you honestly and with respect. Listen, I'll tell you right up front, we're going to make a few bucks. We are. You should want us to. Here's the other thing, though. We're not going to rip you off. That, I guarantee, doesn't happen here. We run with some of the lowest spreads in the industry, and that's what we do, and we've been doing this a long time. And you know what? Here's the realities of it all. Okay? They keep circling your money because – and as they know, right, they know fiat money eventually goes to zero. How does it go to zero? Because they print it to death, right? They've papered the world with debt. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they're going to get the money from somebody, and you kind of know who it is. So that's why you want to have it in place. 800-951-0592, U.S. $10 Liberties. These were minted back when our currency was backed by gold, 1866 to 1907. And when you think about where we have come since then, and you think about the amount of debt we had then, which was essentially nothing, maybe $1 billion or two, maybe, to where we sit today, you kind of understand why it is you need to hold it. They're $675, 1 through 19. If you buy 20 or more, they're going to go down to $665, which would be $13,300. I'll tell you what I'll do, too. If you're not a pickup, if you don't come here to the office in Phoenix or the office in Colorado, and we need to ship it to you, if you buy 20 or more, I'm throwing in the shipping as well. 800-951-0592, and you kind of start thinking about where we're at. It started with silver. Remember how cheap we were selling silver for? And I think we were down to like $2, $2.50 over spot, right? Because there's so much backdate silver eagles, right? Then they disappeared, right? Oh, no more backdates. And now the prices are up. And when I do get them, right, I run them on the air, but even the prices on the backdates are up. Then the $5 Indians disappeared. Then the $10 Indian followed right behind it. Remember, I think I ran $10 Indians like a month ago. The last 3 people actually had to wait weeks because I couldn't get them. Finally was able to get them all out. This morning we found out the 20s are gone. Right? Premiums are coming back to where they used to be. 800-951-0592. Final segment coming up. Final segment, Patriot Radio News Hour, 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number, 65 now. We're down to 65 of the $10 gold pieces. They're $675. If you buy 20 or more, $665. And then I'll throw in the shipping if you do it as well, if you're not a pickup. And again, we got offices here in Phoenix, offices up there in Denver, and we do have both offices have product on hand as well. So if you want to order some and pick some up, we'll make that happen for you right away at 800-951-0592. The Dow's down about 40 points. The Nasdaq's really been the story the last couple of days, down about 100 points again today. As news coming out, people are dumping social media. Facebook's having some revenue problems now. And of course, we know that, the FANG, the Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google has been the primary drivers of the market here. Of course, obviously, the Senate hearings because of the Russians and all that nonsense. Nonetheless, gold's up today. Gold's up $3 today. Silver's higher as well. Crude oil's down quite a bit. Inventories didn't come as, demand seems to be waning. We had durable goods orders today that missed expectations. The down 1.7%. You strip out some of the more volatile stuff, only 0.2 for durable goods, so a lot lighter than expected. And then we had the ADP jobs number as well. That missed. They were looking for a number of over 200,000. The number came in about 160. Don't quote me, but I think it was 163 or 4,000, something like that. But again, well below what they thought. Tomorrow is going to be a payroll number from the government. That's kind of been what was going on, at least in the market reports today. That was the big economic data out today. Tomorrow we'll get the jobs data to go along with it. We had more problems in emerging markets, and it was late. And I mean late, and it happened about 9 o'clock Arizona time. I'm sorry, 8 o'clock Arizona time, when some of the emerging markets started to have trouble. Stocks now falling with their currencies, some bond market troubles, and of course we know Argentina, South Africa, they got added to the list to go along with Turkey, Italy, India, now Brazil. Right, this thing's starting to spread, and again, the central banks and the mispricing of debt is caused all kinds of havoc. And I know that they're trying to pretend it's not going to happen here, but it always does. And this is what you get prepared for. This is why you put it away, and just know, right? They're not your friend, right? When Jay Powell or Janet Yellen or Ben Bernanke or Alan Greenspan, Paul Volcker, when they come out, they're not talking to you. They don't care about you. They pretend to. But then you look at what the laws are. You look at what the SEC has done with the help of them, and it's really simple. They're out to protect the banks and the financial institutions, and they're going to leave you holding the bag because that's just how it works. How much does your IRA weigh is probably what you need to be asking yourself. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. We got Fake News Friday coming tomorrow. Don't miss that.